Hey, I'm going to see if I can put this together real quick. This is going to be for sophomores, and it will hopefully help you catch up. Maybe if you've been missing some class, if you have some questions, we'll tackle this video as if maybe you've missed even every single day of class. What can you do to get caught up? What can you do to feel successful, confident? Yeah, when you rejoin us here at the end of the school year. So first thing we should do, as always, is head to our Canvas course. Once we're in our Canvas course, go ahead, head over to modules. And there are a couple different approaches to getting caught up. One is kind of, if you're just focusing on the grades, well, look at the grade book. What's in there? Every gradebook assignment should have a date that corresponds with a module. So if you see like the About Me assignment, it will say, look at the Wednesday 421 module for more information. So that's where I'm going to go. This is kind of the first thing we did. And so you're making a copy of a document. And when you do that, I'm pretty sure it automatically turns in, or there's a submit button. Whatever the case is, you'll make sure you hit that. And you are filling out the highlighted sections. So you can see Mr. Colvin has an example here. I have an example the previous day on Tuesday. And what this style of writing is it really just helps you kind of maybe write about yourself in a new kind of way. So some of the questions are like, describe the room you're in, name 7 specific things, like as specific as possible. What song is as a soundtrack to your life right now and why? And questions like that. So this is an important document because you'll notice in the grade book there are 2 other grades called Friday free writes. And where you do those Friday free writes is actually on that About Me document that we just looked at. So every Friday you go down on that document to a new page. You can make a new page on it, and you just write about whatever you want. So at this point, if you need to catch up on every Friday free write, you would set a timer for 8 minutes. You'd write for 8 minutes, take a break, whatever. Set another timer for 8 minutes. Just do 8 minutes of writing. And so then by the end, you'll have 4 small sections of 8 minutes worth of writing about whatever you want. The last couple of weeks when Mr. Colvin and I have been looking at them, we kind of try to set goals for you, right? So if you're really struggling with maybe spelling, punctuation, we'll say, hey, on your next free write, really focus on these things. So that way we can monitor growth. For some of you, it's developing yourself as a character, using dialogue, maybe being more descriptive. So make sure if you have been turning these in, that you're looking at the feedback, because that is what we'll end up grading. We're not grading the content of your writing, we're grading your ability to look at feedback and adjust your writing depending on that feedback. So the other thing in the grade book, and I hope I don't miss any of these, but you will notice, my cat just hopped up here, but you will notice if you go to assignments here in Canvas, there is something called Danger of a Single Story Reflection Form. So kind of the first chunk of class, we looked at kind of sociolinguistics, so how language helps like communicates things socially. So a lot of that was the intersection of race and language. So we looked at 3 different texts. The first one being an excerpt from a Trevor Noah, like the comedian, his memoir, Born a Crime, about growing up in South Africa. The next piece we read was a poem. The poet's name I do not remember right now, but it's about being trilingual, daughter of Jamaican immigrants. And so growing up, learning how to speak differently depending on her circumstance. And finally, we watched the TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story by Chimamanda Adichie, a Nigerian author and speaker who talks about the language we use and how that really can help paint a single story about a group of people. And so go back to through our Canvas pages. Actually, if we look in modules, I'm 45% sure those are actually labeled. Finished TED Talk reflections. They are not labeled. I can actually go back and label them right now. So when you look at these on your own, these will be labeled. But basically, this culminates in you doing a little bit of reflection on the TED Talk, thinking about your own experience with language and society. So you'll fill out the TED Talk. It's pretty self-explanatory, but you have to have watched the TED Talk to really make sense. There's a transcript of it, meaning like the typed out version of it, attached to this as well. So you can click here for the video, click here for the transcript, right? Answer these questions before you watch, answer these questions as you watch, answer these questions after you watch. And then you have a little bit of personal writing to do there at the end. And then the final thing in the grade book, I'm trying to remember. So let's check out our modules again and just kind of see where we ended up. So we pivoted after the TED Talk, thinking kind of with sociolinguistics, to trying to focus on telling stories, right? And so we're reading a story by James Allen McPherson called Crabs Dig Holes According to the Size of Their Shells. So you can see here in week 4, we began the text. We read it twice. It's really short. There's an audio file if you just want to listen to somebody else reading it. We did a little bit of reflection on a Padlet. This one wasn't graded. And then this week, the 5th week, we're going over different prompts, because right, we typically read a short story, then we write an essay about it. But this time we're mixing it up. We're giving you more options. So you have the possibility of writing an essay, a letter, doing a social media style post, or doing a video response. And so that's literally what we're starting tomorrow on Thursday, the 20th of May. So you're not too far behind there. The main thing you want to do is listen or read the McPherson piece if you haven't already. And so we utilized Cami, that software, to do so. I would highly encourage going through and annotating using that software. So that's where we're at. So we kind of did this personal writing, looking at language and society, doing the TED Talk, and now we're coming back to personal writing, kind of with that sociolinguistic lesson in mind. The one thing I did miss was this embroidered power quote. That was a quick grade. That should be a fun assignment, and it should be pretty self-explanatory once you click on these modules. So remember, in the grade book, I always make sure to say like what dated module you'll be able to find the assignment or instructions in. So hopefully by the end of this, you will have a better idea of what we've been doing in class and how you can get caught up. Remember, I'm available basically all week by appointment. So if you're feeling lost, just say, hey, Mr. Abernathy, or if Mr. Colvin's available, reach out, say, hey, Mr. Colvin, could I meet with you this afternoon at 2? Could I meet with you real quick after class? Could I come to office hours on Wednesdays? Right? Make sure you reach out. This is not a class you want to be making up as a senior. And I know that because I have several seniors who are making it up. And it's definitely not their favorite thing. And I think it's much more fun doing it now as a sophomore. Yeah, reach out with any questions, concerns, inquiries. The